Okay, so good day to everyone, and I would like to discuss to you the first topic in our midterm, and that is Module 3, the division of the agricultural economics under the microeconomics and the macroeconomics under the topic introduction, law of the demand, Slutsky equation, and the determinants of the demand. So, ito yung mismong pag-aaralan natin sa video na ito. Okay? So, as introduction, many unschooled or even the professional individual do not really understand how price of goods and services are being determined. So, madaming mga professional or mga unprofessional people or the literate or illiterate person wherein hindi nila maintindihan kung paano na determine yung presyo ng isang product because they have a little knowledge about what we call on the price determinations. So, some people think that the prices are determined by the government. So, karamihan ng mga tao or some ng mga tao ay dinedetermine daw yung presyo based doon sa government or by the government. Okay? So, kapag sinabi nating price determination, we are determining the costs of a good sold and services rendered in a free market. So, kapag sinabi nating free market, they are the capitalists wherein ay open yung trade, open yung uh, the consumer has a freedom to choose kung ano yung gusto niyang product. So, walang nagdi-dictate or nagko-command doon sa product na bibilhin ng consumer. But, if we say price determination, it means there is a free market. Okay? So, meron tayong free market. So, price determination, tandaan ninyo, it determines the cost of a good sold. Okay? Dinedetermine niya kung magkano yung mismong goods na naibenta and yung services na na-accumulate or something na naibigay ng economics. So, one example is what happen if the government price is much higher than the real market price? So, anong mangyayari daw na kapag ang government price is mas malaki or mataas yung presyo kaysa sa real market price? So, ang mangyayari is the consumer will force to reduce the number of goods that they usually purchase. Okay? So, once na there is an increase in price of that particular product, the goods of the consumer is reduced. Okay? So, magre-reduce yung kanyang binili. Okay? The goods of consumer purchase is reducing. So, anong mangyayari to the supply? So, mangyayari doon, it creates surplus of the supply. Next, eventually, such condition will reduce production and employment. So, if this is happen, it will reduce the production and employment. So, ang isa na nakakaapekto doon sa price determination or in the price of that particular product is number one is employment and two is the production. Okay? So, kapag alam mo nang bababa ang production because of the lower prices, syempre, ang unang maaapektuhan is the employment. Kailangan mo magbawas ng empleyado. Bakit? Kasi nga, pag nalaman mong there is a decrease or reduction in the number of goods that purchased by the consumer, the employability also reduced. And at the same time, the production also reduced. What do we mean for these operations or consequences? So, nangyayari lang ito once na yung consumer ay nagkaroon ng alternative purchasing power or alternative product na kapalit doon sa mas mahal na production. So, in the part of the producers, once na there is an increase in the product or increase of price ng product na yon, syempre ang gagawin ni producer pag nagkaroon ng increase or something na nagkaroon ng high price doon sa product na yon, ang gagawin ni producer is to increase production. So paano niya mai-increase ngayon ang production? So mai-increase niya ang production if magdadagdag siya ng employee. Okay? And then, it increase also the production. Example sana, meron siyang halo-halo na business. So, ngayon, mainit ang panahon. So, meron siyang halo-halo business. So, ang normal na employee niya ay 2 lang. Pero dahil sa pagtaas or tumaas mismo yung price ng halo-halo from 5 pesos to 10 pesos, what happened to the employee or the employment? So ngayon, pag nagkaroon ng pagtaas ng presyo ng halo-halo na yon, syempre, para ma-attain niya yung 10 pesos at makapag-accumulate siya ng mas higher na income, kakailanganin niya ng employee. So mag-i-increase. So once na nag-increase ang presyo ng halo-halo, mag-i-increase din ang employment. At kapag nag-increase yung employment, syempre mas madaming production ang kanyang magagawa. Pag mas madaming production, mas madami siyang maibibenta. And that's the time na nagiging contradict doon sa income ng consumer natin. Okay? So magkakaroon ng effect doon sa income ng consumers natin. So, example sana si consumer, ang gusto niya is mas lower ang prices. 'Di ba? Mas lower ang prices and mas cheaper na product. Pero dahil sa pagtaas ng presyo nung halo-halo na yon from 5 pesos to 10 pesos, it means mag-change siya ng preference. So, ang gagawin ni buyer or ni consumer kapag nagtaas ng presyo is nafo-force siya to reduce the number of that particular goods. And ang notion ni consumer ngayon is to anong tawag doon? Ang gagawin niya is to change. Okay? Mag-change siya ng kanyang mindset. Wherein ay dapat merong substitution effect. Okay? Or kaya merong substitution. Wherein, why not na hindi na lang halo-halo yung bilhin ko? Why not na ang bibilhin ko na lang ay ice cream? Kasi parehas naman silang malamig. So it means magkakaroon na ng question mark sa utak ng consumer. Kasi ang budget ng consumer is the same pa rin na kahit magtaas yung presyo or bumaba yung presyo ng ating product, the same pa rin yung income ni consumer. So, anong gagawin niya ngayon? So it means magkakaroon ng substitution. Okay? Magkakaroon ng substitution effect. So, ganon. Nagkaka-contradict yung mismong preference ni consumer at ni producer. Ang gusto kasi ni producer is income and ang gusto naman ni consumer is the satisfaction of their needs. Okay? So, kailangan magkakaroon ng tinatawag nating tangent or kailangan yung mismong supply and the demand curve must be intersect with each other wherein kung ano yung agreement ni consumer at ni producers, yun dapat yung nasusunod. Okay? So clearly that the role of the price system has been crucial. Okay? Has been crucial to the operations of the economy. So hence, there is a need balance the interest of buyers and sellers in the goods and services. So magkakaroon ng balance wherein there should be intersection or kung saan yung meet or nag-intersecan ng supply and demand, that is the balanced interest of both buyers and the sellers. Pero yung karamihan kasi ng mga sellers natin or producers natin ay mas gugustuhin nilang magbenta ng product na mas higher ang presyo. Okay? So, nakakaapekto ang employability din if pag nagkaroon ng increase ng wages, yan, sino ang pwedeng mag-take over or something magkakaroon ng burden sa pag-increase nung amount nung product na yon, that is the consumer. So, lahat ng operations sa pag-create ng product, sa lahat ng operations sa pag-create ng product ni producer, ang pwedeng mag-take over doon sa pag-increase nung value ng product is the consumer. Okay? So, kapag nagkaroon ng increase ng wages ng employment, syempre, the product also increases. The production, if the production increases, the product also increase the price. Okay? If the employee increase the wages, mag-i-increase din yung price ng product na yan. Okay? So, magkakaroon ng effect. Kaya kapag bababa ang sweldo ng isang employee, so bababa din yung product. Okay? So, ganun mismo dinedetermine yung price ng product. Kaya nga, kung gusto mo talagang magmura yung product na yon, kakailanganin mong ibaba yung mismong sweldo ng mga employee. Pero nowadays, hindi na pwedeng ibaba yung price ng mga or yung mismong wages ng mga employee, di ba? Walang bumababang wages. Okay? Nagkakaroon ng improvement or increase. Okay? Wherein, ang makakaapekto pag nagkaroon ng increase ng wages at nagkaroon ng increase ng price ng product is there is so-called inflation rate. Okay? Okay? So, capitalist economy, prices of goods and services determined by interaction between supply and the demand of goods and services. So, dinedetermine daw yung price ng product na yon or ng services na yon doon sa interaction or tangent kung saan nagkasalubong si supply and the demand. Okay, so kung saan nagkasalubong si supply and the demand. So this is a price or this is the price of the product wherein kung ito yung price ng product, ito lang mismo yung pwedeng maka-afford doon sa product na yon. Or ito lang mismo yung nangangailangan doon sa product na yon. Example sana, if this is imposing price or if this is the price of the product, wherein 10 pesos of banana Q and then 20 yung quantity. So, it means ay sa 10 pesos, 20 na consumer ang pwedeng maka-afford daw doon sa product na yon if that is a banana. Okay, kapag 10 pesos ang presyo ng banana na yon, 20 yung mismong pwedeng maka-afford doon sa banana. That is a quantity demanded. Okay? So, yun. So, if the government does not interfere, what happened? So, ano daw ang mangyayari kapag nagkaroon ng imbalances or something, hindi nag-agree yung price ng product na yon, hindi nag-agree si government, what happened? So kapag hindi nag-agree si government dito sa interaction of the supply and the demand, wherein ito ang pinaka-normal price ng product na yon, so ang mangyayari, when the demand is greater, so kapag dumami yung consumer na bibili sa product na yon, than the supply, so mababa ang supply, prices increases. So kapag mataas ang demand and then mababa ang supply ng product na yon, syempre, there is an increase of the price. Okay? Especially kapag nagbago ang income ng ating consumer. Pag nagbago ang income ng consumer, and then walang pagbabago sa supply or sa presyo ng mga product na yon, so ang mangyayari, dadagsa ang consumer na bibili dun sa product na yan. If nagkaroon ng increase ng income. Pero kapag hindi nagkaroon ng increase ng income at normal pa rin yung income na yon, kasi karamihan ng consumer natin ay mga employee din. Tama ba? Na kapag nagkaroon ng increase ng wages ng isang employee, syempre magkakaroon din ng increase ng price ng product. So it means binabalance ng economic sector yung pagtaas ng wages doon sa pagtaas ng prices ng mga product natin. Kasi kapag hindi nagkaroon ng increase ng price ng product natin, so what happened? So yung mga employee natin ay mas bumibili ng mas madaming services or goods. Okay? Especially yung mga consumer natin. Okay? Next. So prices determines the allocations of goods and services among the member of society. So napakahalaga ang price. Kasi nga, it determines the allocations of goods and services among the members. And the price is the value of the product or services. And then, more money means more goods and services. So kapag mas madaming pera, means mas madaming goods and services ang pwede nating bilhin. And it expressed in terms of monetary, like yung peso, dollar, or yen. So, yung price determination or price can dictate the value of that particular product. Okay? So, paano natin madedetermine ang price? Through yung status ng employability and doon sa production. Okay? Employability and the production. Diyan natin madedetermine yung price ng isang product. Okay? Example, sana nagkaroon ng increase ng wages ng employee, syempre magkakaroon ng increase ng price ng mga product natin. So, ang pinaka-last resort or kaya ang pinaka-last burden doon sa pag-increase ng product is the consumer. Okay? Sila mismo yung magbabayad sa lahat ng operations na nagawa ni producer. So, si consumer mismo. Okay? So, it determines in the status of the employability and the production, especially the wages and the produce or the production of that employee. Okay? So, microeconomics. So, dito tayo magfo-focus ngayon. So, microeconomics deals with the economic behavior of an individual unit such as the consumers, firm, and the owners of the factors of productions. So, it deals with the behavior or individual units. Okay? Kasi kapag macroeconomics, lahat sakop niya. Diba? Pero here, we are only discussing about the consumer or individual units of the consumer, firms, and the owners of the factor of production. Example sana, the price of rice, the number of workers of San Miguel Corporations, or the income of Mr. Cruz, the expenditures of Iselco, and etc. So, under the microeconomics, okay, so ang unang topic natin for the microeconomics is the demand or is the demand. So, individual demand is schedule showing the inverse relationship between price and the quantity. So, kapag sinabi nating inverse relationship, it means ang kanyang curve is slanting. Okay, inverse. So, tandaan nyo kapag demand, slanting ang kanyang curve. Okay, so kapag sinabi nating demand, we are referring to the consumer. Okay, we are referring to the buyer of that particular product. Okay, so siguro narinig nyo na sa market yung tinatawag nating itong product na ito ay in demand. Okay, kapag sinabi nating in demand, it means ay madaming bumibili sa product na yon. So kaya nga tinawag siyang Demand because we refer to the consumer or a buyer of that particular product. So, demand is a schedule of various quantities of commodities. So, kapag sinabi nating various quantities, so madaming bilang. Or we are referring to the bulk amount of commodities. Which buyer are willing? So, ilan ba yung gusto nung mismong buyer na quantities by the word quan or number of product. Okay? Ilan ba yung kailangan na product nung mismong consumer na yon? So, doon mismo tinitignan sa tabulated nung ating tabulated or table nung demanded natin or quantity demanded. And able to purchase at a given price, time, and place. So kapag sinabi nating demand ay dito ini-schedule yung various number of commodities na gustong bilhin nung buyer natin based doon sa income. Okay? Based doon sa income and able to purchase at a given price, time, and place. So, meron tayong table dito. We have the price. So, example sana, yung price ng product na yun ay 1 peso, 2 pesos, 3 pesos, 4 pesos, and 5 pesos. And then, the consumer want to buy or dadami lang mismo yung pwedeng bumili sa product na yon if the price is piso. Kapag ang price ng product na yun ay piso, ang pwedeng bibili ay 5 na consumer. And kapag nagmahal yung product na yon, konti na lang yung bumibili or konti na lang yung afford doon sa product na yan. Okay? And then there is the same intersection of the quantity demanded wherein kapag 3 pesos yung mismong product na yon, this is the normal price or nandyan na yung intersection of that product wherein yung quantity demanded natin, tatlo din ang pwedeng maka-afford. Diba? Tatlo yung pwedeng magka-afford doon sa product na yan. So, there is an equal distribution of product kapag the price is 3 pesos. So, tatlo din yung pwedeng maka-afford. So, this is the various amount and this is the series possible prices of the product, a specified time period or other things being unequal. Okay? So, and then, kapag i-tabulate or kaya i-figure out natin itong table na ito, this is the result. So, example sana, para mas maintindihan ninyo, if this is the price of the product and ito naman yung demand or quantity demanded, so piso, 2 piso, 3 piso, 4 na piso, at 5 piso. So, tingnan natin mamaya yung intersection. As you can see, ito yung intersection. Ano? So, kapag 5 pesos ang kanyang presyo, ito yung kanyang quantity demanded. Okay? And then, kapag 4 pesos yung product na yon, this is the quantity demanded. Dalawa lang mismo yung, kapag 4 pesos, dalawa lang yung mismong makaka-afford doon sa product na yon. And then, kapag 3 pesos, tatlo din yung pwedeng maka-afford doon sa product na yon. And then, kapag 2 pesos, it means ay 4 or 4 lang ang pwede maka-afford doon sa product na yon. So, it means there is so-called inverse relationship. Kapag sinabi nating inverse relationship, once na nagkaroon ng increase ng price ng product, there is a decrease of the quantity demanded. Okay? And then kapag nagkaroon ng decrease ng price ng product na yon, mag-i-increase yung quantity demanded. So that is so-called inverse relationship. So nagkakaroon ng contradiction. Mag-i-increase yung isa, magdi-decrease naman yung isa. So that is demand. Okay, that is the demand. Next. So punta naman tayo dito sa law of the demand. So consumer are most likely to buy more goods and services when the price decreases. Okay? So mas madami daw bibilhin na goods and services ang isang consumer kapag mababa ang presyo ng product na yon. And buy less goods and services kapag tataas na yung price. So it means there is so-called inverse relationship. Okay? Kapag sinabi nating inverse relationship, ulitin ko kasi kanina, kapag nag-increase yung isa, bababa yung isa. Kapag nag-increase yung price ng isa, bababa din yung price or bababa din yung product na bibilhin nila. So, ano yung rason bakit kaya nagkakaroon ng pag-decrease ng price or tsaka lang bibili ng mas madaming goods kapag magdi-decrease ng price? It is because of their income effect and the substitution effects. So, nangyayari itong activity na ito or nangyayari itong consequence na ito or scenario na ito because of two reasons. The income effects and the substitution effect. So, anong ibig sabihin ng substitution effect? So, the substitution effect, when the consumer tend to buy goods with a lower price, so when price increases, they look for substitute whose price are lower. So, mas pipiliin nilang bumili ng mas cheaper one than the expensive one. That is substitution effect. So, the substitution effect, so the drop in prices has both a substitution effect and an income effect. So the substitution effect is the change in food consumption associated with the change in price of goods with the level of utility. So ang pinag-uusapan natin dito is babawasan niya yung utils na kakailanganin niya or something na meron siyang isa-substitute or alternative goods para ma-fulfill pa rin yung satisfaction. And then kapag sinabi naman nating income effect, at a lower prices, an individual has a greater purchasing power. So kapag mas mababa yung presyo ng product na yon, mas mataas daw yung purchasing power ng isang consumer. Bakit? Kasi mas madami siyang bibilhin doon sa product na yon. So he can buy more goods and services. Okay? So ulitin natin ha. Consumer tend to buy goods with a lower price. Okay? Mas gugustuhin ng consumer na bumili ng mas murang mga goods. Pero kapag nagkaroon ng increase ng product na yon at nag-iba siya ng preferences or something na alternative, ang tawag doon substitution effects. At ang income effect naman, if there is a lower prices ng goods na yon, mas mataas ang purchasing power. Once na mataas yung purchasing power, it means there is an income effect. Okay? So it means ay kasyang-kasya yung kanyang budget to buy that particular product in a higher or mas higher yung goods and services. Okay? Na kanyang nabibili. Okay. So, ang nakakaapekto doon sa income effect and substitution effect is this Slutsky equation. What do you mean by Slutsky equation? This is the total change in the demand that consists of an income effect and a substitution effect. Both effect collectively must equal in the total change in the demand. Okay, so that is Slutsky equation. So Slutsky equation referring to the income or the effect of the income and the substitution effects in the income of the consumer. Okay. Okay. So, punta na tayo dito sa ating Slutsky equation wherein there is an income effect and substitution effect. So, the letter B, that is the budget line, the PX and PY, that is the product, and then the I is the indifference curve. Okay, so let's assume that the budget of the consumer is 500 pesos for buying the product X and the product Y as combination. Example sana, yung product X natin is the soft drinks and then yung product Y naman natin ay yung bread. Siyempre kapag walang panulak, hindi naman pwede na soft drinks lang, kailangan mo ng tinapay. So, ang isang consumer naghahanap ng combinations of the product kung ito ba ay fit doon sa consumptions niya. Okay? So, meron tayong tinatawag na budget. So, meron tayong original budget. This is the B. And then the B1, so it means ito yung changes of the budget. So, kapag B, it means ay normal yung product. Normal yung price ng product natin. Normal yung price ng ating product X and the product Y. Na kung saan, itong 500 na ito is afford na bilhin yung combinations ng product X and the product Y. And then we have also the indifference curve. Kapag sinabi nating indifference curve, dito mismo yung tangent kung saan nagmi-meet si budget and indifference curve. Kung saan yung pinaka-tangent niya, it means ito yung best combinations of the product. Example sana, this is 10 pieces of soft drinks and then this is also the 5 pieces of bread. So, kapag bibili ka ng 10 soft drinks, it means ay meron ka na ring mabibiling 5 pieces ng bread doon sa 500 pesos na budget mo. So, kapag sinabi nating B, that is a normal budget or a normal combinations of the product. And then, what happened kapag nagkaroon ng increase nung product X? Yan. Anong mangyayari kapag nagkaroon ng increase nung product X and then normal naman yung price ng product Y? Okay? So, what happened? So, there is so-called movement. Okay? Magmo-move yung budget natin from budget or original budget to budget 1. Okay? Ito yung changes kapag nagkaroon ng increase nung product X and normal yung product Y natin. So, ang gagawin ni consumer, so magkakaroon siya ng alternative combinations. So, siguro, as you can see, babawasan niya ang pagbili ng soft drinks. Example sana, ito ay 9. 9 na lang yung bibilihin kong soft drinks at dadamihan ko na lang doon sa bread. Kasi nga, mura lang naman yung bread or something na yung barya ko dito sa soft drinks ay ibibili ko na lang ng bread kasi mas afford ko yung bread na bilhin. So, dadamihan ko siya kasi mas madami pa siyang barya. So, example sana, 9 na lang yung bibilhin niya sa soft drinks, tapos dito naman ay 7. Okay? 7. So, as you can see, 9 plus 7, 16. So, dumami pa rin yung kanyang product. So, afford niya pa rin na bilhin yung isang product. Or kaya, pwede din nating palitan ito na 6. Example sana, 6. Para the same pa rin yung quantities of utils ng product. Okay, 15. Okay, 15 pa rin. So, yung combinations lang ang nabawasan or nag-change. Example, sana yung quantity 10, tapos 5 lang yung bread. Dito naman, 6, tapos ang quantity of soft drinks, 9 na lang. Okay? And then, this is so-called budget 1. Okay? And paano naman kaya kung nagkaroon ng increase ng product X and increase ng product Y? What happened to the budget? So, ang gagawin ng mismong consumer is gusto niyang ibalik yung combinations na ina-attain niya kapag nagkaroon ng increase ng product nung dalawa. So, babalik siya sa tinatawag na original budget. Pero sa pagbabalik niya doon sa original budget, hindi na mismo magkakasya yung kanyang income na 500 pesos. Kaya nga, yung indifference curve niya, ito ha, tingnan nyo ha, from the budget 1 to the budget 2. Wherein, pilit niyang gustong i-attach yung combinations na gusto niyang i-require or something na i-attain, pero hindi niya magawa. Kaya nga, kung saan yung intersection based doon sa budget na 500 pesos, kung saan yung intersection with the indifference curve, that's the affordability ng mismong consumer. So, it means eto lang. Okay? So, this is the budget 2. Wherein ang pwede niya na lang mabili dahil sa sobrang nagmahal na yung presyo ng dalawang product na yon, ang pwede niya na lang mabili ay 7 na soft drinks, tapos, example 7 ito, 6 na lang na bread. Okay? 7 na soft drinks, tapos 6 na lang na bread. Okay? So, yun. So, what happened? Anong mangyayari or saan dyan ang income effect and substitution effect? So, in the curve between the original budget and the budget 2, that is so-called substitution effect. So, yung result ni budget, original budget, and the budget 2, that is so-called substitution effect. Okay? And then, yung in between the budget 1 and the budget 2, that is so-called income effects. So, as you can see here in the Slutsky equation, that ang naiipit doon sa budget is the consumer. Wherein, once na nagkaroon ng changes, so tignan nyo ha, napakalaking impact yung price. Wherein, kapag nagkaroon ng increase ng price ng dalawang product, nagkakaroon ng substitution effects. Okay? Na gusto niyang or ipipilit niyang bumalik doon sa mismong original budget para lang mabili niya yung gusto niyang bilhin, pero hindi niya kayang i-reach yung letter A. Tama ba? Hindi niya kayang i-reach. So, ang nangyayari, yung combinations niya bababa. Wherein, yung in between the budget 2 and the original budget, that is so-called, yung difference ng budget 2 and the original budget is substitution effects. While yung difference between the budget 1 and the budget 2, that is so-called income effect. Dahil sa mababa lang yung income niya at hindi nag-i-increase, kaya si B1, mas pupursigihin na lang na magkaroon ng other combination si consumer, kesa naman pipilitin niyang bumili pa rin ng bread kung ang presyo niya ay hindi na kaya doon sa budget niya. Okay? Yun. Okay? So, to understand the law of the demand, as the price falls, the quantity demanded increases. So, kapag mababa daw ang presyo ng product na yon, yung demanded or the quantity demanded increases. While kapag nagkaroon ng price rises, the quantity demanded falls. So, there is so-called inverse relationship between the price and the quantity demanded. So, kapag sinabi nating inverse relationship, tatandaan natin, pa-slanting yung kanyang curve. Pa-slanting. And then, validity of law of the demand. So, the law of the demand state that as the price increases, quantity demanded decreases. As a price decreases, kapag bababa daw ang presyo, quantity demanded increases. So, Such theory is only true if the assumption of ceteris paribus is applied. It means all other things equal or constant. Okay? Okay. So, we have in changes in demand versus the changes in quantity demanded. So, this is the yung nakatago. This is so-called quantity demanded and then this is the demand. So, yung line na ito, this is the quantity demanded and then this is the changes in the demand. Okay? Changes in quantity demanded and then this is the changes in the demand. So, the changes in quantity demanded is brought about change in price. So, kapag nagkaroon daw ng changes itong quantity demanded na ito, mag-change din daw ng presyo. Tama nga naman na kapag nag-increase yung quantity demanded natin, yan, kapag nagkaroon ng movement or nag-increase yung quantity demanded, so it means mababa yung presyo nun. Pero kapag nagkaroon ng increase ng price, mababa din yung quantity demanded. So wherever there is a change in price, there is a corresponding change in quantity demanded. So kapag nagkaroon ng corresponding changes in quantity demanded, magkakaroon din ng changes doon sa price. Or doon sa price, magkakaroon ng changes, there is a changes din doon sa quantity demanded. So, kapag increase yung isa, yung price, decrease yung quantity demanded. Kapag nag-decrease yung price, increase din yung demand. For example, lower price result to more units of goods. So, in case of change in demand, it is caused by change in determinants of the demand. So, magkakaroon ng changes. So, ito, there is a movement, okay, or changes in the curve. Okay? So, yun. Next one is, in graph, an increase in the demand shift the demand curve to the right. So, kapag nagkaroon ng increase ng demand, nagkakaroon ng shifting yung mismong demand curve. Ito yung tinatawag nating demand curve. Ano? So, kapag nagkaroon ng shifting, it means ay nagmo-move or something nag-change. Pero kapag movement of the demand, so it means dito lang yung movement. Okay? Dito lang yung movement. Dito siya or dito sa curve na ito. Pero kapag sinabi nating shifting, it means nagkakaroon ng pagbabago doon sa demand curve. Okay? So, in graph, an increase in the demand shift the demand curve to the right. So, kapag nagkaroon ng increase ng demand, it shift to the right. Okay? As you can see, ito sana yung demand. This is the original demand. Na kapag nagkaroon ng increase or nag-shift, there is an increase in the demand curve. Pero kapag nagkaroon ng decrease doon sa demand, it means ay nag-shift din yung demand sa left. Okay? So if the demand shift to the left, it means there is a decreasing of the quantity demanded. Pero kapag nag-shift yung curve to the right, it means there is an increase of the quantity demanded. Okay, there is an increase in quantity demanded. This is right and this is the left. Okay? Pero kapag sinabi naman na there is a movement of point in the quantity demanded, it means ay dito lang. So it means magkakaroon ng pagbabago ng presyo ng product na yon. Okay? Once na dito mismo sa may curve siya nag-move. Okay? So, an increase in demand is shown by the shift of the entire demand curve to the right. So, kapag nagkaroon ng increase ng demand, it means ay, uulitin natin, ay nagkakaroon ng shift of the entire demand curve. Entire demand curve to the right. Okay? So, without change the price of the goods under considerations. So, the entire demand curve shift to the right to indicate an increase in demand. Okay? Kapag decrease naman in demand, it's shown by shifting of the entire demand curve to the left. Okay, so to the left. So without changes in the price of the goods under consideration, the entire demand curve shift to the left, indicating decreasing of the demand. Okay? Nagdi-decrease yung demand. Okay? So let's try to graph this scenario or this example. So change in quantity demanded. So a change in quantity demanded is brought about by the change in price. Example sana, this is the price 1. So the price 1 and the price 2. So there is a decrease of the price here. Wherein dati ang presyo ng product ngayon ay 3 pesos, ngayon ay 2 pesos na. And this is the combinations of that particular price. So example sana, yung quantity demanded 1 at ang price niya ay 3 pesos. So, ang quantity demanded 1 is 35. And then, tataas yung quantity demanded from 35 to 55 because nagkaroon ng decrease ng price. So, mag-i-increase ang quantity demanded at a lower prices. And then, magdi-decrease ang quantity demanded at a higher prices. As you can see, bumaliktad lang dito sa scenario na ito. So, kapag i-graph natin, ganito ang kanyang graph. And at the same time, kung iti-table natin, ganito yung magiging table niya. So, ganito yung kanyang magiging table. Wherein ay, example sana, the quantity demanded, example sana ay, the price 1 is 3 pesos and then the quantity demanded is 35 pesos. So as you can see, this is the price 1, 3 pesos and the combinations of quantity demanded is 35 pesos. Pag i-graph natin, this is 3. So it means there is a movement in the curve. Nagkakaroon ng movement. Iba yung shifting ibang-iba yung shifting sa movement of the curve. Or inside the curve, there is a movement. Okay, example sana, kapag sinabing shifting, it means kapag ito yung quantity demanded natin, kapag nagkaroon ng shifting, it means it moved to the right, neither it moved to the right or it moved to the left. Okay? Or dito. Okay? Example sana, ito yung original quantity demanded 1, magiging demanded 2 or demanded 3. Okay? So, it means there is a shifting. Iba yung shifting sa movement. Kapag sinabi nating movement, it means inside the curve. Okay? So, if this is the combinations, 3, and then, ang kanyang partner ay 35. That is quantity demanded 1. And, there is a decrease in price of that particular product. Okay? Ano kaya ang magiging combinations niya? So, ang magiging combination niya is 55. So, it means nagkaroon ng movement na kapag nagkaroon ng movement yung mismong curve to the right, yan, there is a movement to the right, it means there is a decrease in prices and magkakaroon ng increase doon sa quantity demanded. Okay? Ganito para mas maintindihan ninyo. So, kapag ang movement ng ating demand nung movement ng ating demand is pa-right, it means there is a decrease in price of the product and increase in the quantity demanded. Okay? Wherein, sabi niya diyan, decrease in price of the product if there is a movement to the right from the point 3 to the point 2, it means there is a decrease in the price and then higher quantity demanded. Okay? Another example is decrease in quantity demanded. Okay? Okay, so kapag P1, kapag ang price 1 natin is 2 at ang quantity demanded natin is 5, so this is the first price and ito mismo yung combination. Paano kapag nagkaroon ng changes doon sa price, what happened? So if the price 2 is 3 and then the quantity demanded 2 is 35, so yan yung kanyang curve. So if there is a movement to the left inside the quantity demanded curve, it means there is a increase in price and decrease in quantity demanded. Okay? So, quantity demanded. So, kapag nagkaroon ng increase ng price ng product na yon, it means the quantity demanded decreases. So, this is the law of the demand. Wherein, kapag ang pinag-uusapan natin is demand curve, if there is a shifting to the right, what happened? There is a decrease in price of the product and increase in the quantity demanded. Pero kapag nagkaroon ng movement doon sa left, it means there is an increase in the price and decrease in quantity demanded. Okay? Next. So, punta naman tayo dito sa determinants of the demand. Okay? So, in the determinant of the demand, we have also the income. So, income, people buy more goods and services when their income increases. So, mas madami silang nabibili kapag mas mataas ang income. Okay? We all know that people or poor people who become rich naturally purchase more basic goods like food, clothing, and shelter. And services like yung recreation, Medicare, and education. So when the income decreases, the demand of goods and services also declines. Okay? So example sana, in the increase in increasing the consumer's income, so, syempre, mas mataas ang normal goods na binibili nila but decrease in the demand for inferior goods. Okay? So, decrease in consumer income. So, magdi-decrease yung normal goods na binibili but increase in the demand for inferior goods. Okay? So, normal goods means demands varies directly with the income. Okay? And then the inferior goods naman, it is a demand varies inversely with the income. Okay? Kapag sinabi natin inferior goods, ito yung mga basic needs natin. While yung mga normal goods naman, ito yung mga afford natin na mga product like yung mga cakes, mga cheesecakes, na kung saan hindi naman natin kailangan talaga na pagkain pero bakit kaya binibili natin than the inferior goods. So kapag mas mataas ang income mo, pag mas mataas ang income, syempre mas madaming normal goods ang binibili. Okay? Pero kapag mababa ang income mo, mas mataas ang inferior goods na binibili mo. In terms naman dito sa populations, so, more people means more demand. So, kapag mas madaming tao daw, mas mataas yung goods and services na kakailanganin. Tama nga naman na kapag higher yung population, higher yung needs. So, conversely, kapag mas mababa ang population means less yung demand for goods and services. Pero sa Pilipinas kasi nasa 100 million na tayo, so mas higher yung goods and services na kakailanganin, especially sa mga normal goods and the inferior goods na kakailanganin natin. So, more people in urban than in rural. So, more buyers in cities than in the barrios. So, kapag mas madami daw tao sa urban, syempre, mas madaming buyer doon than the barrios. Wherein sa mga rural natin, konti lang ang tao. So, example pa sana, kapag nag-increase yung number of babies na naipapanganak, syempre, mag-i-increase din yung demand for milk. Okay? Demand for milk. So, kapag bababa yung ipapanganak, or number of babies born, syempre bababa din yung demand for milk. Gaya nung pandemic, 'di ba? Nung pandemic dumami ang naipapanganak na bata, kaya nag-increase din ang demand ng milk. So, yan yung ikalawa na determinants of the demand. Yung first na determinants of the demand, that is income. Secondly is the population. And then, number three is the taste preference. Okay? So, it increase the demand when people like or prefer that goods and services. And if certain product is out of fashion, the demand for it is false. Or kaya ay hindi na mismo tinatangkilik. So, kung ano yung uso, ngayon, yun yung taste preference ng consumer natin. Okay? So, mag-i-increase yung demand nung particular product na yan if that particular product is preferred by the consumer. Okay? Kapag out of fashion na yan, hindi na nila bibilhin. So, favorable change in taste, increase in the demand for fashionable goods. Ayan. And then, ang unfavorable change in taste ay yung out of fashion. Example sana, sa mga damit. Di ba? So, kung hindi na uso yung damit na yon, hindi na nila binibili. Okay? Ganon din sa price expectation. So, if people expect that the product increase next week, so they will buy more this week. So, ang gagawin nila, ang notion kasi ng tao kapag alam na nilang magmamahal yung product ngayon by next week, so they will buy more of that product this week, or yung tinatawag nating panic buying. So, they decrease the demand of goods if they expect price to decline. So, the reason for such consumer behavior, especially sa mga gasolinahan, na kapag nag-impose na yung government ng presyo ng product na yon, na magtataas na siya next week, so ngayon pa lang ay dadamihan na nila yung pagbili ng product na yon. That is so-called panic buying. So, that behavior is so-called economize. Okay? Next one is the price of related goods. So, when the price of a certain product increases, people tend to buy a substitute product. Or, mas gugustuhin nilang bumili ng alternative one than the expensive one. Example sana, if the price of the Tide increases, consumer buy less of Tide and more of that close substitute like yung Breeze, Ariel, Surf, and Champion. Diba? Next, price of related products or goods. So, substitute goods, that is the price of good, is directly related with the demand for the other good. Kapag complementary good naman, that is the price of one good is inverse related with the demand for the other goods. Okay? And then, kapag independent goods naman, the price of one good does not affect the demand for the other goods. Okay? That is independent goods.